So I am going to give you a bit of a backstory on Maya. I know a lot of you came in to support that live, and I appreciate every single one of you that showed up for me in that live, because they only had 27 people in that live, and then obviously once I got in the box, the comments showed up in force, and there was more than 450 people in there in the end, and I really appreciate that. So Maya Chappell is a little girl who was murdered at the hands of her mum's new partner within the space of 5 short weeks of her meeting this new partner, moved him in, and then turned a blind eye to the violence he was committing against Maya. It was found after the fact that Maya had actually been walking around for a couple of days with her spleen split in two because of this man's horrific violence. And I can't even tell you how unimaginable that pain would have been. Unimaginable. So what I'm going to do is, because I haven't had time to put this case together properly to tell you, and I don't want to cause any disrespect or anything at all, I am going to read you the sentencing remarks from the judge towards these two absolute fucking bastards. Now, the ladies who are running the Justice for Maya page, Maya's Law, on here are the aunts of Maya's father, James. And we know throughout this case, Maya's dad, James, tried to get in contact with the authorities, including social services, and say Maya's got bruises all over her. And because they were more favourable towards the gender of the mother and the woman, they ignored him. They didn't even go out to the house. So I do want people to know. So I'm going to show you the killers. I'm not going to keep them up for long. This is Dana, who is the mother of Maya, and I say mother very loosely because she became the abuser in the end, so she's no longer a mother. She's had another baby since as well, which I find absolutely abhorrent that she was even able to be given that chance to have a baby, because naturally I believe when you're a part of a child murder, you should have all of your bits cut off so you can never have a kid again, personally. This is Michael Damon here. Michael Damon was the brute that actually caused such horrific injuries against Maya, and then tried to say that she had just fallen off a bed. And within 5 seconds of phoning the police to come out to the house, he was on the phone to the DWP asking why his payment hadn't come through that day. That's some new level of savagery, that is. So this is Maya. I'm not keeping them up. I can't. These are, I'm going to share with you. And I just want to say for people, people who say, like, they come in the live and they're like, well, I can't stay for this. Can I just say, like, Maya, and I don't mean to sound horrible, Maya lived through this, and we're about to talk about something that's severe, but it's happening in the UK time and time again, and it always follows the same pattern. We couldn't save Star, we couldn't save Star, we couldn't save Victoria, we couldn't save Baby P, we couldn't save Arthur, we couldn't save Daniel, we couldn't save all of these kids. We couldn't save Maya, but we can save the next child, and we can only save the next child by working together. Now, Maya's family are working together because they're saying that Claire's law is for women who are going through domestic abuse or men who are suffering domestic abuse. It's not for children. Now, Sarah's law, named after Sarah Payne, is for sexual abuse against children. There is nothing in place right now, which is where Maya's law would come in. Maya's law would impact child abuse, physical abuse. We can't keep overlooking this. And every single time that I cover these cases, it follows the same pattern. New partner, moved into the home, mum looks the other way, dad looks the other way, the child goes through severe brutality, they move around so social services can't catch them, just like in the case of Star Hobson, moved. Then we know with Isabella Wilden, moved. Like, or Sarah Sharif, take him out of school. They're always removed, isolated. And social services say, well, if you think this is happening right now, phone the police. And then, Boo, one of the mods is in here. Can someone get back to Boo? It follows the same pattern. The same time that we look at these inquests at the end of these child's death and we go, well, there was 52,000 chances to save this child. We just didn't do it. So let me tell you a little bit. I'm going to read you the sentencing remarks because I believe this will be the most impactful. This was at the trial against Damon and Carr. Dana Carr, the mother, and also, I don't know, that Michael Damon, who is the mum's new boyfriend. And can I just say as well, mum turned up to Maya's funeral with a man she met that day off Tinder. And he said, where do you want to go? Do you want to go for a drink? And she goes, do you want to just come to the funeral with me? And he got so freaked out he left the date and then contacted Maya's family, her father James, and said, I don't know if you know this, but I've just met this woman on Tinder and she tries to take me to your daughter's funeral. And she actually spent the money raised by those people locally to give Maya a good send-off on cocaine. So her dad's family had to cover everything, and they were happy to do so. But it just shows what kind of cunt this woman is. She went on to have another baby in the year between being sentenced and having Maya. And she only got 6 years for allowing the death of a child. And I tell you guys over and over again how sick I am of this law. No mother just allows the death of a child. If you don't protect a child and the child is murdered in your house, you're a murderer. That's it. If you are the kind of woman who will let your child suffer daily to protect yourself or keep a new relationship, you're a murderer. And it's about time that we start addressing it like they do in America. If you are in the house when a child is murdered and you don't do anything to stop that child being murdered, you're a fucking murderer. First degree murder, life gone, no chance of parole, done. Because it may protect the next child. How you can be out. So she's only going to serve about 4 of that. She's going to be out in a year's time. Maya would only have reached about her 6th birthday by the time my mum gets out. She died at 2. Do you know how disgusting that is? So I'll read you the sentencing remark. I'll put Maya on the screen so I can read from this. If you could just, if you have nothing else to say, just put pink hearts for Maya while we read through this. So this is the judge's remarks. The case concerns the death of Maya Chappell. Maya was murdered on the 30th of September 2022. This followed her mistreatment over a period of about 5 weeks. During the period leading up to her murder, she was just 2.5 years old. During the trial, the jurors and I saw many photos of Maya during her short life and several video clips. Some showed her sad, as described in the victim's personal statement we've just heard. But that is not how I will remember her. We mostly saw her happy, smiling, playing, dancing, obviously eager to love those around her and be loved by them. In other words, an ordinary little girl, but like every other child of that age, she was extraordinary, unique and wonderful, and above all else, irreplaceable. I have heard a very moving victim personal statement from Hayley, Maya's great aunt on her father's side. But I know that Maya's death had caused them some sadness to everyone in the family on all sides. Nothing that I say or do today can bring any comfort or consolation to a family whose members loved her and who will continue to love her. But I want you all to hear from me how much we care, the police who investigated the case with such dedication, the lawyers on all sides of the court who have worked to ensure justice was done, and the jury, many of whom I know were moved to tears during the trial. Maya affected all of us and she will never be forgotten. For this, I have to sentence you, Michael Damon and you, Dana Carr. Michael Damon, you are 27 and you were 26 at the time. Dana Carr, you were 24 and you were 23 at the time. You were convicted by the jury as followed. Michael Damon, you were convicted of murder, for which the sentence is life, and causing cruelty to a child by assault, contrary to the Children and Young Persons Act of 1933, for which the maximum sentence is 14 years. Dana Carr, you were convicted of causing or cruelty to a child by neglect and allowing the death of child, contrary to Section 5 of the Domestic Violence Crime and Victims Act 2004, for which the maximum sentence is life. Neither of you have any previous convictions. Maya was born in March of 2020, so this is the facts of the case. Maya was born in March of 2020. You, Dana Carr, were her mother. Her father was James Chappell, and the relationship was unhappy and ended shortly after Maya's birth. In the summer of 2022, the two of you began a relationship. It was to be a short relationship, an intense one. You became mutually dependable very quickly. Towards the end of August 2022, you moved in together at the address in Milton Crescent, Shotton Colliery, the two of you and Maya. And notice these dates. They moved in together in August. She was dead in September. Dana Carr, you had a job and went off to work most days. You left Michael Damon to stay at home with the responsibility of looking after your child who you'd known for only weeks. So Mrs. V, if they go to my bio in my profile, they can click straight on the link and it will take them straight there. So no copy pasting or nothing. The first link in my bio is now Maya's Law. So she just literally left him at home, and the aunts have told us today she was allowing this man who had been with her for 2 weeks to bath Maya, change her nappy, and Maya was spending most of the days hiding in cupboards from him, hoping that he wouldn't spot her. It did not take long before Maya began to sustain bruises, which were noticed by other people. On August 26, Maya went to her father's house for a few days. His and his girlfriend and various members of his family noticed bruising on her cheek, around her jaw and inside her left ear. They were concerned. You both maintained this was a result of Maya having fallen from a slide in the park that day. But the bruising inside of Maya's ear could not have been caused in that way, and the bruising around her jaw looked very much like marks left by fingers, as if someone had gripped her forcefully. On September the 5th, Michael Damon contacted Dana Carr while she was at work and told her that you had to grab Maya to stop her from choking. On the next day, marks started to come out of Maya's face, a cut to her nose and a bust lip. On September the 9th, Maya went to stay with Christopher Fellows, Dana Carr's stepfather. You, Dana Carr, were very close to Mr. Fellows, and he also got on well with you, Michael Damon. He noticed bruising on her torso and was concerned. He sent you, Dana Carr, a photo he had taken of Maya standing naked in the bath. He said she's got bruises all over her. He advised you to speak to a GP or health visitor so you would not get blamed. When he was asked on this occasion and two other occasions, you told him you would go on to tell other people these bruises were inflicted by Maya herself, that she often bumped into things or banged herself against the walls or radiators in her bedroom, and that she'd even nipped herself, pinched herself with her fingers. At one point, you attempted to pin the blame on Maya's maternal grandmother with no justification whatsoever. And we do know from speaking to the aunts today that even the step-grandfather of Maya began lying for the mum and not questioning where the bruises had come from, and he just started lying to the father for her. On the 13th and 14th of September, Maya attended nursery close to the new home for a settling-in session. The staff said she enjoyed the session, however, she never went again. The nursery received repeated messages from you, Dana, saying that she was unwell. It seemed clear that you did not want her to attend the nursery because the staff would have noticed her bruising and may have done something. At around this time, Maya developed a particularly unpleasant-looking, large and very pronounced bruise on her pubic mound. There was something that was bound to look suspicious to most people, and to expert evidence was that it could not have occurred accidentally or have been caused by Maya nipping herself. It was the result of either forceful contact, e.g. a kick, or being pushed onto hard surfaces. It must have hurt, and the person who caused it must have known what they did. On the 15th of September, you told James Chappell that Maya was too unwell to stay with him as previously been arranged. Despite her father having been told that Maya was unwell, she was not too unwell to be allowed to stay with Christopher Fellows again. I am sure because you trusted him and thought he was on your side. Mr. Fellows took Maya to see his sister, an experienced nurse. She was concerned that various bruises were visible even though Maya was fully clothed. She pointed them out to Mr. Fellows and told him to take photos of Maya. Mr. Fellows did so, including taking photos of the particularly disturbing bruise on Maya's pubic mound. Mr. Fellows' sister, Mrs. Shotton, also got her brother to phone you, Dana Carr. You told Mr. Fellows that it was a result of Maya nipping herself. Mr. Shotton could hear you in the background. Michael Damon shouting, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me." So now we have a nurse on the mum's side as well, who has done nothing, said nothing, who has been concerned enough to take photos but done nothing. By the following weekend, the bruises had faded to the point where, as you, Michael Damon, told the police in an interview, you thought it was no longer visible. Maya was allowed to stay with her father again, James Chappell. He and his mother both noticed bruising on Maya's pubic mound, although their description suggested bruising was very much on the way out by then, as well as 3 to 4 bruises down Maya's chest like finger marks. On September the 27th, while you, Dana Carr, at work, you, Michael Damon, contacted her and told her that Maya had another bruise coming through on her face, which you said was caused by her falling from the bed and banging her face. On September the 28th, you, Dana Carr, went off to work again, leaving Maya with Michael. Michael Damon, you had a very bad day. First of all, you received numerous messages from someone to you owed a huge drug debt. I say that your drug debts had been a running problem for some months, when partially behind your move to Shotton Colliery. You are now being chased very aggressively for payment, and you took it out on baby Maya. Thank you, Michelle. Your phone records show that you made repeated contact to the benefits agency. They told you your universal credit had been cut off. This culminated with a 60-minute call to the benefit agency just before 2 p.m. You then rang your mother at 2:16 and told her your universal credit had been cut off. Before this, at around 10:30, your stepfather, Carl Gallagher, paid a visit. He was not struck by any visible bruises, but he noticed that Maya was behaving oddly and commented that she seemed very scared of you. He even considered taking her away from you and leaving the house with her, but he left at 11:15, leaving her behind, scared. At around 11:40, you, Michael Damon, took a video on your phone of Maya, clearly upset. She was trying to put herself inside a small box-shaped opening in a cabinet in the living room. She was trying to take refuge in a space that would be inaccessible to an adult. During the afternoon, your phone shows more visits to the benefits agency's website in an attempt to call them. Then at 3:30 p.m, you received a further aggressive message about your drug debt. No more than 5 minutes later, you made a call to Dana telling that Maya had collapsed and she should come home. Then you called 999. The call handler dispatched help, as well as taking you through giving Maya CPR. Despite the best efforts of medical staff and police who attended very rapidly, the efforts of the staff in hospital, Maya did not regain consciousness and she died. She was found to have suffered severe, unsurvivable brain trauma. The unanimous opinion of 5 expert witnesses was that it was caused by Maya having been so violently shaken. They described the force required as severe and extreme. However, Maya was also found to have a severe and extensive internal hemorrhaging to the small intestine, to the large intestine, and probably the result of a massive blow or kick. There was also a further large livid bruise over her pubic mound in a similar location to the earlier bruising sustained there. Further, Maya's body was covered in innumerable smaller but still noticeable bruises. There were multiple bruises to Maya's face and body consistent with direct slaps or blows, and bruising around the chin or jaw which were consistent with you gripping her face. With the exception of the bruises to Maya's left cheek, which occurred on the previous day, these bruises have not been seen. I'm not going to go through the rest of the 11 pages. We're on page 3 and there's loads. It goes into each of their sentencing, which was not enough anyway. And I'm not going to listen to the judge say, I can hear him say to Dana here, I know for a fact you loved your daughter. Well, she didn't, did she? She didn't at all. So I want you guys to go to my bio. If you go to my bio in here, let me bring it up actually first. Maya's Law. Maya's Law. If you go to my bio, so you go to where Comic Crime is, I'll show you actually because I know a lot of people don't know how to do it. If you go to here, my profile, okay. If you go to my profile and then you click on this bit here, where there's a link thing there, so click on that link tree thing there, and the top one says Maya's Law. If you go and sign it, then can you go to your email please to confirm it, because otherwise it doesn't count.